Could you maybe dress down a little? The client needs to think we're professionals. It's my 3rd month at the market research agency, and the female senior consultant pulled me aside. The lovely one every office has. She organizes all the events, she knows everybody's birthdays, and somehow always knows what's best for you. She says it like she's doing me a favor. That day I'm wearing a green dress and pink tie. It's nothing wild. And I feel my face going hot. I smile and hear myself say, yeah, totally, of course. Thank you for letting me know. That was the moment it started. And the most twisted part is how gentle it was. She was smiling. She genuinely thought she was helping me. And I went home and shoved the green dress to the back of the closet. You've had your own version of it, so let me save you 20 years of figuring it out. Nobody attacks you into hiding. They advise you sweetly with a smile. You don't lose yourself, you let yourself be trained to hide. Everybody loves to tell you, just be yourself. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Why didn't I think of that? As if the real you slipped down the back of the couch and you just have to reach in and grab her. But you have actually tried just being yourself, haven't you? And it doesn't feel like finding something. It feels dangerous. Because somewhere along the line, being yourself started costing you. And the smaller, more digestible version got rewarded for it. That version got taken seriously. That version got the promotion. And here is your trap right there. Being fake worked. I said it. It's easier. It paid. So of course you kept doing it. I was the same. I studied psychology and neuroscience and spent years of coaching people through it. And now I'm going to show you precisely how this is done to you. And it is done to you because you don't pop out of the womb boring. And what this erases out of your life, that is an absolute nightmare to get back. To me, it happened like this, and I put money on it that it's in a way rhyming with yours. Every time I walked or shoved myself into a world I didn't know the rules yet, I made myself as small and digestible as possible. And I called it adapting, adjusting, assimilating, and I was so proud of how mature I am being. The first time I was 5, I moved with my mother from Lithuania to Germany. New country, new language, new everything. And this loud little tomboy who ran the entire show back home just switched herself off. I watched everyone, I copied everyone, and I learned exactly how to be acceptable there. And all the grown-ups clapped and called it, wow, she's growing up so fast. Then at 14, she came back. I'd always loved anime, and in that moment, I decided to go all the way in. The most weeb things you can imagine. Self-made school uniforms. I had this hair antenna held up with half a can of hairspray, over-knee socks in all the colors, ribbons, pigtails, going with a sailor suit to an ordinary German school for absolutely no reason except that it made me happy. I was the nerdy town weirdo, and let me be clear, I loved it. People talked behind my back, adorable. The ones who mattered didn't care how I looked, and the ones who cared, I didn't waste my energy on. So spare me the idea that I was an empty little shell who had to go and build a personality. I had one, a big, loud, and cringe one. Then I grew up, got a proper job, and the same thing that happened at 5 happened all over again. Except this time I was old enough to see it happen and I let it happen anyway. New world, rules I didn't know, and I need that paycheck. So when the friendly female senior consultant sat me down, green dress, pink tights, and told me to tone it down for the client, the cringe kid in me heard an insult. But my mature, professional, grown-up self heard a sensible tip from someone senior who smiled at me the whole way through. So off I go buying navy blue and dark gray blazers and pants. And a few weeks later, a new trainee comes in. She is sweet, polished, and just blends into the office. That senior adored her. And this trainee, bless her, I'm not even trying to be cruel to her, because I liked her too. She told me what was said about me when I was not in the room. That they were proud that she fit in so beautifully, and that I was, a bit of a black sheep. still couldn't quite adapt. And this is the machine, and it is so clever because it rarely bullies you. It sits you down with a smile and hands you reasonable feedback how it would be better to perform, behave, look if you really want to belong to that room you want to be in. And the loudest, most colorful, most unmistakably you part of you, that is the first thing it asks you to turn down. And for me, it was the color. For you, it might have been your hobby and a small, shut down, nobody cares. Or a parent that swore that they are only protecting you. Same con every time. This part of you isn't welcome here, so kill the volume. Psychologists have a tidy little name for it. Conditional regard. Love and approval with terms and conditions attached. And the truly evil genius of it is that the whole thing looks like maturity. Like you're finally being professional, finally growing up. So don't even fight it. Say thank you. And I did. I also said thank you, like she was doing me a huge favor, womansplaining me how the professional world works. She had no clue what it was about to cost me, and honestly, neither did I. It was never the suit. I would wear a navy blue costume to a client meeting and laugh about it on the train. That's not the damage. The real damage turned up on the weekends when nobody was even watching. Because once I started tuning myself down for work, it didn't stop at the office door. Saturday morning, getting ready to go to brunch with friends, and I reached for that loud, funny dress with the fringes and neon tights and quietly pull back. Maybe it's too much right now. Something simple is easier. I can have a little bit of color, but I don't need the full rainbow. Nobody was making me do that on a Saturday alone in my flat. I'd taken up the job for myself. And that is the part that should genuinely scare you. It took me years of feeling empty to realize what I actually abandoned. The part of me that wanted to be seen, the part of me who liked being that person you looked at twice and think, whoa, what's that? That was in me since I was 14, and I handed her over without anybody even having to ask. So I quit after a few years. First the job and then the relationship with a guy who liked the toned down, sporty, calm version of me more than the cringe. And I went to drag all of it back. The hair, the glitter, the funny fashion, the entire circus into my work on camera and in the bloody supermarket. And I found out something deeply annoying. Coming back is so much harder than the hiding ever was. When I was the weirdo in that tiny German town, maybe 30 people whispered about me. 30. And I could look every one of them dead in the eye. And now I put myself on the internet, and any random human, anybody with a phone holding a grudge from the previous evening, sitting in the morning, constipated on the toilet, hating on the internet, calling me cringe before I even open my mouth. So if being yourself feels scarier now than when you were 15, you're not imagining it, and you're not soft or weak. And when the real you is fairly normal, being honest just costs you a little. But when the real you is loud, cringe, and a bit much, and I honestly believe that is so much more true in people than they admit to themselves, then being yourself doesn't just feel brave, it feels like a genuine threat. There are so much more eyes on you. And a solid chunk of them logged in this morning, specifically hoping to be unimpressed by someone. Might as well be you, right? And I know exactly who I'm talking to. You. You've got a version of yourself that you've tuned down all the way to 0. And you know precisely who she is, the thing you would wear, the sentence you would say out loud, the passion that you would share with everybody if you were sure that nobody would call you cringe for that. And every day you keep her on mute and tell yourself a lovely little story about it. That you're being smart, that you're reading the room. It's bullshit. You go, who am I to post that? Who am I to being the loud one? Who do I even think I am? I will tell you who you are. You are the one doing that senior consultants, that parents, that shitty friends job for them for free except they aren't even in the building anymore. You sit there and talk yourself out of being seen before anybody has to bother and do it for you. And then you act surprised when you feel like a stranger in your life. So let me show you what's waiting on the other side of that. The real you didn't die. And I know that this go and find yourself crowd makes it seem that the real you is lost somewhere, but she isn't. She is right here. She never left. She's exactly who she always was. You have just forgotten that you are sitting on this mute button the whole time. And the worst part is, deep down, you know it. You know who and how the real you is. That's what's hurting. So you want to know what it looks like when I let her come back. One word. Tracksuit. I'm standing at the Bangkok airport waiting for my taxi. Pink tracksuit, full of caps, pink hair, glitter on my eyelids, in the middle of the day, the full glamorous, ridiculous thing. And a little German girl walks past with her family. She stops dead. She points at me and goes loud, delighted, "Boah, Mama, guck mal, wie die aussieht! Mama, look how she looks!" She wasn't laughing at me, she lit up. The way you light up at something where you didn't even know the existence of was allowed. And she is German, from the same country that taught me to switch myself off at her age. I went mute in a German village at 5, and 3 decades later, a German kid looks at me at full volume and lights up as if I just came straight out of a picture book. That is the whole prize. Not everyone clapping. They won't, because the cringe police will never shut up. But I'll say it to them straight. You think it's cringe, I think it's fun. And that gap is the whole reason why I'm happier than you. Enjoy the toilet. You were trained to tune yourself down, and you are allowed to tune yourself back up. It's slower than you'd like, and you will have to grow a thicker skin than you ever asked for, but nobody took away the real you from you. It's been sitting there the whole time. You just never dared to even touch her. And if your hands are already sweating just thinking about letting yourself be seen, I made a whole video about how to grow yourself a thicker skin. That one is next. And if you spend years turning yourself down for a handful of people who can't handle you at full volume, congratulations. You have found the one channel that wants you to be loud. Loud, cringe, courageous, and I'll put one video out every week. Tell me in the comments, one word is enough. What is the one thing you would wear, say, feel, allow yourself if nobody could judge you for it? I read all of them. And really do that, because there will be someone scrolling past your comment and thinking, wow, I also do that. Thank you for putting it into words. I'll see you in the next one.